There are many reasons why people feel anxious and worried. It is a normal feeling to have when things don't go according to plan. However, there are times when many allow the worries of life to overwhelm them, to the point where they are never at peace. So, if you are someone that finds themselves in this predicament, then understand that worrying about things will not solve any situation. Instead, try and organize yourself by listing down exactly what your worries are. After, write down ways on how you could solve the situation. This could even include small changes, such as speaking to an advisor who could potentially guide you to the solution of your problems. And always remember that no matter what you are facing at this very moment, there is a solution out there for you. You simply have to look in the right places.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. Well, as the video presented, our topic tonight is, do you worry too much? Of course, that to a certain point, worry is important. We can't be so laid back as not to be worried about anything, but we all know that there's a huge percentage of people who really go beyond the boundary of what would be considered a healthy kind of worry, a normal worry, and because of that, it generates a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, insomnia. Maybe this might be the reason why you're even watching this program right now. Not that you don't want to sleep, but you can't, because there's something really worrying your mind right now. You can't get your thoughts out of it. It's like something, this idea, this thought, this problem, issue that you have to deal with is hammering down on you every day. Like a hammer. You try to shake it off, you close your eyes, you open your eyes, and nothing changes. So how could we deal with this kind of stress? How or when do we know that worry is too much? I could say in a very basic way, when it is unhealthy, when it's already affecting your health, emotionally, mentally, and physically. So we have to have a balance, right? A balance where you do want to take care of the responsibilities, you do want to get things done, you have to perform well at work, you have to pay the bills, you have to pay your rent, your mortgage. There are things that we can't postpone, we can't ignore, we have to deal with it. But if it is to the point where it is affecting you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as I'm saying, physically too, then you know that you are beyond this point. But tonight, we're going to be talking about how faith can help you deal with the issue of worry in a much more positive way. By the way, we have a live guest who is here with us tonight. She's going to tell us her story of how worry was an issue to her and how she overcame. But before I speak to her, I would like to leave you with the story of Jefferson. It's a brand new story that we bring tonight to Finding Answers, and you will see through his statement how turning to faith, intelligent faith, not religious faith, not an emotional kind of faith, but a faith that is based on an intelligent basis, intelligent thoughts. We call it intelligent faith. How it made a big difference in the life of Jefferson. Let us watch and we'll come back.
The worst moment of my life, I'll probably say, is when I broke up with my girlfriend. In that space of time, it was like everything around me came crashing down. I broke up with my girlfriend, I failed my exams, so I had to go back and retake another year of doing the same subject. Basically, I was in complete debt to something that wasn't my fault. So with that, it created, all of it started to build like a kind of like heaviness on top of my shoulders, because every day I'll be leaving my house and I'll be thinking I've got debts, I'm single, and I've now failed my final, another exam again. I failed my course initially. So as I was walking around, I met one of the members who was attending the church at the time. The way the guy was projecting himself, it was something that I've never experienced before. The services backed me up, but it was what he was saying as well, that it officially backed me up to make me feel more encouraged to carry on. And when I started to see his example, I reapplied for a course that I failed. The funny thing is I passed the course with flying colours. I was one of the top ones in the class, and then through it I started to apply myself to do different things because he kept telling me I could achieve it. It got to that point of those words that were said to me from that time, it's feeding me and it still feeds me to this day. And now all I've got in my mind is sky's the limit.
So this is one classic example of intelligent faith. Faith used in the right way produces results. Listen to me, please. I'll say this again. This is really important. If you're having problems now, if you're going through serious problems that you can't seem to put behind you, faith used in the right way must bring results. For instance, you maybe went to a place where they told you what your problem is. They said you have this. They even found a very nice name to the problem that you have, syndrome of this, that name of issue, something you never heard before. So there's a name, okay, to this issue, to this condition. But the one who told you what you have was not able to remove the issue. So it's like only part of the job done. It's only 50% because you don't want only to find out what it is. You want to get rid of it. And maybe something worse has happened. Maybe you were told that you have to live with it for the rest of your life. As, for instance, we have spoken in previous episodes about addictions. When it comes to addictions, it is classified as, or categorized as a kind of illness that is, let me see if memory doesn't fail me, progressive, incurable, and fatal. Incurable, in other words, people will never get rid of it. Progressive, it's not going to get better, it's only going to get worse. And fatal, it will kill the addict. Well, we have seen that when people who had serious problems with addictions, many of them were brought here to finding answers to testify, to drugs, alcohol, food, other types of addictions where they couldn't find an answer anywhere. But when they learned how to use the power of faith, they overcame. Is this an issue to you? Do you see that your life is blocked and you don't know what else to do? All seems like doom and gloom. You need answers, but you can't find them wherever you went. So let me tell you something. We are live here. This is a live program. And if you want help right now, then we have trained advisors that are here standing by to take your call. Should you want to speak to someone, maybe you want a prayer, maybe you want to just talk to someone, you just want to vent, you just want to, it's like you feel that your chest is about to explode. You say, Edward, I really feel pressurized, oppressed, depressed. And I have found people who told me what issues I have. I know the name, but they didn't point out the solution. They didn't show me the way out. Actually, I was told there is no way out. So we disagree. We disagree. There is a solution to addictions. There is a solution to you who seem to be stuck in a rut. And no matter your efforts, you can't get through. If you will open up to learn about how to use your faith in an intelligent way, the faith that connects you to God, you can and you will get help. So stop what you're doing now. If you're going through problems, serious problems, and you don't want talk, you don't want words. Actually, you're tired of talk. You want solutions. You want answers. Let us help you. Give us a call. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose, honestly speaking? 0207-686-6300. It's the number that you can call now. Once again, we are live here. You're going to speak to an actual person, an advisor, who can speak to you and help you. To show you that we're telling the truth when it comes to overcoming serious problems through the power of faith, I would like you to watch the story of Julie. Julie Tedeschi is actually the mother of one of Finding Answers presenters, my colleague, Pastor Michael Boudrin. And both he and his mom and his wife, they were in a very, very bad situation. Life was really upside down, and they went somewhere where they learned how to use the power of faith, and it did bring results. I prefer that you would watch in her own words, through her own story, how faith transformed the life of Julie and her family.
From the day my husband and I got married, things changed drastically. From that day on, I would try to keep up with him with drinking, and we used to fight. We loved each other, but we used to fight for no reason at all. And we eventually separated. Now, after we separated, I started having spiritual attacks. And from that, I started drinking even more. I took sleeping tablets to sleep because I couldn't sleep. I started having insomnia as well.
She used to drink a lot. She would go out to pubs. She would get drunk. And there was a point where after my mum and dad's separation, she would be drinking at home. And I would invite my mum all the time. I would invite her to the church, but she'd always say no.
I tried many places to get help. I'd go to different churches. I went to tarot card readers. I went to people who said they'd help me and pay thousands of pounds to them. But instead of being helped, my life got worse. Michael used to invite me to come to the church. And I used to always say to him, pray for me. I really didn't want to. I didn't know why I didn't want to. I just didn't want to. Then one day, when Michael asked me, are you coming to church? I said yes. From that day on, I started coming and speaking to the pastors, having prayers said for me, taking part of chairs of prayer, especially on a Tuesday for healing. On a Friday, my life started changing bit by bit. I used to have an explosive temper. That disappeared. The headaches, the constant headaches, they went. Insomnia went. Alcoholism went. I could sleep at night. I didn't have to wake up in the mornings feeling sick. My life just totally changed. Today, I'm free from every problem I came with. And I'm very happy that my son, Michael, invited me to come.
Hi everyone, I'm James.
And I am Helena.
Join us here every Saturday at 3 p.m. for Love Talk.
The show that teaches you how to love intelligently.
On my channel, Sky 203.
See you there.
Love Talk on my channel, Sky 203. Every Saturday, 3 p.m.
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort, and homework from you.
So you could see just a while ago the story of Julie Tedeschi. And no matter what the situation is that you are going through right now, the difficult time, maybe you can even say, Edward, I'm going through the worst time in my life ever. A lot of these things that are happening to me, I never asked for such situations to come. I don't even understand. Are you someone going through this that you say that you don't even understand why this is happening? So I am certain that you are going to be inspired through this program. Just stay with us. I'm going to speak to Jasmine, our live guest tonight. But before we go straight to her, just remember that you can find previous episodes of Finding Answers uploaded to our YouTube channel. So you just you type Finding Answers, find our YouTube channel, and there you're going to find all different kinds of topics concerning finances, health issues, family issues, love life issues, mental, emotional, spiritual issues, everything related to faith. You see that faith is such a beautiful thing. You know, it's like I don't remember exactly how people call it. I think it's like something like a Swiss knife, pocket knife, that you have pliers, scissors, a knife, screwdriver. There's a lot of things in that gadget. And you could consider intelligent faith this kind of gadget, because it doesn't matter really the issue. If you're worried because there is a serious debt, we showed you in the beginning the story of Jefferson, who was able to be debt-free by learning how to use the power of faith. Evidently, it's not a magic trick. Oh, Edward, sorry, but the way that you're presenting it, it sounds too good to be true. Listen, I'm not saying it was easy for these people. We have a limited time. We cannot show the full story and every detail. Evidently, it wasn't easy, but it's doable. And actually, if you're saying that it's too good to be true, but what if it's not? What if things can really change for you? And I am certain they can. But you have to give yourself this chance. Right? So once again, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. We have our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. We are present in basically every social media where you can find a lot of interesting material, even if not only for yourself, that you can send to your contacts, to friends, to someone who might be going through a hard time right now. Why not, at this time of night, even do some good to someone? So subscribe to our channel and be informed of every episode that is uploaded. Anyhow, Jasmine was someone who used to worry, and we could say she was even worrying, and had reasons to worry about something. But let's find out how faith helped her. It's the story of success.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Well, first of all, good evening, welcome.
Good
evening. Okay. Jasmine, I really want to focus, before we speak about how faith helped you, on the problem part of your story. How did everything start?
So it all started when I decided I no longer wanted to study, especially because I'm a web developer and technology changes so quickly. So when you spend a lot of years studying, by the time you come out of education, whatever you studied is out of date. So I decided I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go straight to work. And in making that decision, I had a lot of family members who didn't agree because I wasn't going the conventional route. And it was quite hard because I had to prove them wrong. Some people in my family didn't talk to me for 2 months. They just did not believe in my decision not to continue to study.
So tell me again, they didn't agree with the decision you took to be more like a hands-on kind of thing, right? To go straight into the practical instead of just the theoretical side. Okay, continue.
So they didn't agree. I did manage to prove them wrong. I had my mind set that I'm going to get a job and I'm going to get a good job, and it's going to show them that no matter what, as long as you believe, as long as you have that faith in yourself, especially because when you do go for the interviews, it's the faith that you have in yourself that shines. And as long as you have that faith, you can make it. So I got that job. I was there for some time, and then I wanted to take another step. So after that contract finished, I had another period, and this time I didn't have the same faith in myself. It was quite bad. I was unemployed for a very long period of time.
About how long?
So I was unemployed for about 8 months, and it was horrible.
Tell me again. You were unemployed because you decided to leave the job, or did they let you go?
So they let me go. A few things happened there, and I can't even believe how it happened. It was quite a shock. They let me go. I was working for an investment bank. It was a really, really good company. So, and even the way they did it, obviously to protect how they are seen by the public, it was very under the radar. And I left it that way, and I just left. But I was very upset. I was crying. I remember I was traumatized. I'll be doing other things, and I'll just break down and I'll cry.
You felt devastated.
Yeah, I felt.
You know, it's an interesting point, Jasmine, because this is what happens when a person puts their trust in something that even may seem to be very secure. The financial institution was a very prestigious one, but actually it's not 100% secure.
Exactly.
Right? Maybe you, viewer, you identify with what she's saying right now, because at some point in your life, you went through the same. You were very happy, proud, in the positive connotation of the word, of course, of the position you held, you know, the job you did, you really did your best, but in a very unexpected and maybe even unfair way, because that was the way that it happened with you, right? You lost. And then when we are in a position like this, then what to do? A door doesn't open. You see the bills piling up. You have to eat. You have to pay your bills. You have to afford your living, your housing situation. Then what we do? So if all the doors are closed to you, if you are in this situation right now where you don't know what else to do, you say, "Oh, Edward, I feel that I am at the end of my rope. If I, don't see something happen fast, I don't know what's gonna happen." So before doing anything, before taking any radical decision that you will very likely regret, because worst time to decide on things is when we are emotional. When we are emotional, it's not reason that is in control. It's the heart. It's not a coincidence that the Bible says the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? That's in Jeremiah 17:9. So when it says the heart, is evidently talking about emotions. Emotions, they have a place, but not when it comes to getting rid of problems. When it comes to getting rid of problems, you have to use. We don't feel our way out of problems. We think, we find solutions by using the head, and that's where the faith that we talk about comes in. So if you want to learn more about this faith that is based upon intelligent steps, once again, the number will be appearing here, and also our email address, so that you can take note of it and call us. We are live, once again, and you can call us anytime, okay? So, sorry, how long were you unemployed again?
I was unemployed for about 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
And during those 8 months, Jasmine?
So the first couple of months, I spent crying, I spent upset, but all throughout the 8 months, I was applying for jobs. It was just the way I applied changed. So towards the end, when I managed to secure myself a new role, I applied.
How long ago did that happen? It was when?
So that was over a year ago now.
Over a year ago.
Over a year
so
ago.
It's not something way back. It's something recent.
Something very recent, yeah. So it was the way I applied changed. In the beginning, I was crying. I was upset. I was really annoyed, and when you want to fight the situation, but it's like you shouldn't. And I was so worried about what am I going to do. I had worry coming from my family because some of them felt like it was their fault, even though I don't know how. There was just worry coming from everywhere. I couldn't see what I was going to do. I was just going to go back to education because I couldn't see another way. And I just kept going like that. I kept going for months, just worrying, crying. And then I got to a point where I didn't want to cry anymore. And I just stopped caring, but I didn't deal with the situation. So instead of applying, I would just go out and I'll spend my days, I'll try and find something to do. But during this time, my financial situation got worse. It got so bad, I was on about £10 a week. And I had to use that to buy clothes, I had to use it to buy food. It was horrible. It was so bad, I don't even want to think about it. But even then, that didn't get me to change my situation. Then I was listening to something someone said and it sparked my faith. It woke it up.
Before we go to that point, so I want to say this, you see, you even considered, it's interesting how when someone gets desperate, it's like we know we have to do something, but we don't know exactly what. You were going to go into education, even though that's not what you really wanted to do. You had given up education to go into the hands-on, the practical. It was a step you took. And then you were about to take a step back, of course, forced by the circumstances and everything. So maybe this viewer is what's happening with you. You know, you take one step forward, one step backward, one step forward, and you go back again. You take a risk, then you refrain from risking. You go ahead and you go back. Then I ask you, until when will you be settling for this kind of situation? But for you to go forward and keep on going forward, you need a hand to keep pushing you, to keep helping you go forward. And this can be the hand of God. How? By learning how to use the power of faith, which Jasmine will tell us how she was able to turn this terrible situation where you were even making £10 per week.
A week.
My goodness.
Right.
How you're going to be surprised at how the story ends. But we're going to go to a break and she will conclude after this.
So, maybe you're thinking about making some big changes or setting some ambitious goals for yourself. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds or read through the Bible. Maybe you want to run a marathon or repair a broken relationship. Whatever your big goal is, the temptation is to expect to go straight from here to here, or from here to here. The reality is, there are a lot of small steps between big decisions and big results. Challenges and obstacles await. At some point, you might even want to quit. But stand firm. Don't be disappointed with slow progress. Don't be overwhelmed by the destination. Rather, focus on what you can do today. Skip dessert. Read a chapter. Go for a run. Make a phone call. The more difficult the journey, the more rewarding the destination. And it can all start today with just one small step.
My Channel TV, featuring a kaleidoscopic daily dose of programming. Stay with us every day and explore politics, economics, science, technology, lifestyle, culture, sports, and much more. We're here to amuse you, to keep you updated, and to keep you company. We're My Channel, your channel on Sky 203.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. And the topic for tonight is, do you worry too much? How do you overcome that? And we are having here Jasmine, who is telling us her story. She's going to tell us now how she overcame. But I want to remind you that you can prepare a glass with water. I have mine here. Because in a few minutes before the end of tonight's episode, we are going to be joining faith and praying for you. So if you're going through a difficult situation, prayer does help. Prayer does make a difference. And you can call and include your name for prayer, okay? Anytime, any given time, just give us a ring. 0207-686-6300, the number is right here. So now, Jasmine, how was it that you were able to overcome this situation and get rid of the worry and turn this story into a success?
So I realized the crying didn't work. It didn't change my situation. The trying to cover it up didn't work, and I just had to face it. So when I was then able to face it, I was able to be honest with myself and say the only thing that's going to change this situation is you getting a job. So you have to get a job. Mm-hmm. And I started applying, but this time I started applying as if I had something to offer, and not just that they are doing me a favor by hiring me. Mm-hmm. I'm doing something for you. Mm-hmm. So it was like an exchange of services, and that transpired in my CV. I made it seem as if they had to hire me, basically. Mm-hmm. And it was one line. It was literally one line I changed. And I was applying, and the job I got, I didn't even apply for. She found my CV, and she said it was one line that grabbed her attention, which was the line I changed, in order to make it seem that I had something to give to them, because I had to start believing in my ability. I had to start having faith that what I can do can benefit someone, and not that someone's doing me a favor by hiring me. Mm-hmm. And that was the worry. The worry was that I can't give to someone what they're expecting. I'm not worth hiring. You start getting those thoughts, especially when you apply so much and you just get rejections. My inbox was literally filled with rejections, mm-hmm. but I kept going, and I got one, and I didn't even apply for the job. I started working the following week, and it was good. Within six months, I asked for a salary increase. I received it. Within another 6 months, I asked for another salary increase, and this was very different. So usually you expect, my faith is telling me to go ask for an increase because I give so much to the company. I was a very good worker. I would stay late. As soon as the time came, I would not go home. I'll do my work. I'll do other people's work. And I believed that I was worthy of an increase. And I had the faith to ask. So I asked. I didn't get a reply. I asked again. I didn't get a reply. And some people were saying, you shouldn't ask. Don't worry. And then other people in my workplace were complaining, oh, I don't have enough money, what am I going to do? But in my head I said, if I don't have enough money, I have to change the situation. My faith is telling me that I've got to do something. So I didn't get an answer from her. I went to the director of the company. I didn't get an answer from him. At the end of the day, I said, I have other people approaching me, because I started getting loads of calls of mm-hmm. people offering me new positions with a certain amount, and they then said to me, we can't pay you what they want to pay you. Mm-hmm. And then we came to a mutual agreement that I would leave. I did not expect that to be what would happen. I expected mm-hmm. what was going to happen was they were going to agree to mm-hmm. increasing my rate, but that's not what happened. But I had to stick to my guns. They did give me an offer. Mm-hmm. They did offer me to stay there for 1 more month, and they will pay me what I've been getting paid, or I could leave on Friday. And they told me that on a Monday, and I was so shocked. I've got bills, I've got a car, I've got loads of things to pay for, and I'm just thinking, what am I going to do? I had had loads of calls, but none of the calls were saying, we want to hire you today. It was just calls. But I said, I have to trust my faith. My faith is telling me I need to go for an increase, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to stay here for another month, because the situation will come up again in a month where I believe I should be somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take my leave on Friday. So we agreed, and I left. And I started having people, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? You've got a car, you've got this, you've got that. And I was thinking, I know I have a car. I know I have a lot of things, but I don't want to worry about what I have. I don't want to look at what I've got, because when I start looking at my situation, I could see myself spiraling back to where I was last year. I could see myself going back to that person who starts crying and who doesn't do anything, and then who starts trying to fill her days with something that she shouldn't be doing. And I didn't want to go back there. So I said immediately, I remembered what I did to conquer my job before, and I said I'm going to do the same thing to conquer another role. So I put my my faith helmet on and I kept going. So I got a call for a job, which wasn't the job I wanted. It was the way they were paying, which was not what I wanted. I'm currently in my own business, and they wanted me to come on as a permanent employee, which is not what I wanted. But the interviewer asked if I would go anyway, and he will see if he can change the terms. So I went to the first stage, and during the first stage, I still believed that I'm somehow, somewhere, you're going to hire me the way I want to be hired. This is how I want you to hire me, and this is how much I want you to pay me. And they were asking me, and they brought someone else into the interview who was then able to offer me the way I wanted to be hired, and she was then able to offer me what I wanted to be paid as well. So I went for her interview. It was brilliant. The interviewer loved me, so he said he's going to hire me. So the risk paid off. It was very scary, but I decided not to look at what I've got and to look at my faith instead. And that's what helped me.
And you did it by faith.
By faith.
Now tell me something, Jasmine, because you're speaking about faith, and there are people who are watching that they say, but I have faith in myself, I changed my CV, but they are still not getting through. So I want to find out, what faith is this? How does God get into the picture in this breakthrough? I understood that you overcame and you got something even better than what you were asking for. But where does God come in the picture?
So it's the faith that I have, and the faith that I have for myself is based on the Word of God. When I open the Bible and I read and I see what God has promised to people, His children, when I see that and then I see my life, I just see God wants to take me somewhere else, and He's not going to open a door that I don't knock. So I have to knock the door. And we do have fear when we have to knock. It is scary to walk into an interview room. You are unemployed. They know you are unemployed, and you're sitting there demanding more money from them. It is very scary. But God said you have to knock the door. And He said the door that He opens, no one can shut. And the door that He shuts, no one can open. So if God is going to open this door for me, no interviewer is going to be able to shut it.
Now I understood. You took a promise from the Bible. It is written, right? Words of Jesus Christ Himself. The door He opens, no one can shut. This, by the way, this promise applies to you. To you, dear viewer. Muslim, Buddhist, Catholic, Christian, evangelical, another denomination, other religion, no religion, Baha'i. It doesn't matter your religion. This promise applies to you, but you have to believe. So you went, you took action. I'm going. So you took a word from Jesus. You had the courage. You mustered the courage to go there, to take the risk, and to believe. I'm not going to settle for less. Even though it was a scary situation, because you needed the answer immediately. So the easiest thing would say, let me, right? Grab the first opportunity. They want to hire me. Okay, let me grab it. But no, you said, these are my terms, and you stuck to your ground, and you valued your work, right? This is it. This now, you know, it all connected. How it is God who opened this door for you, right? And I believe, Jasmine, because this faith, how long has it been since you learned about this kind of faith that you're talking about?
Really and truly, I've been hearing about it, but I never believed in it enough to practice it. But it's this last year and a half that I've really believed that wherever I go, at whatever door I knock, it will open. I just have to have the courage to knock the door. It's only been about a year and a half. And in a year and a half, I have seen things transform in my life, and I'm going to continue to see it. It's the risks that I keep taking that help me to get to the next stage, because if I start settling for things now, further down the line, I will continue to settle. I'll get in that habit. But whereas if I start taking risks now and demanding what I want, further down the line, I will demand what I want. And that's how I'm going to get, that's how I'm going to work and get to another level and then to another level. So that's the way I see my life will progress, by taking the risks.
Very good, very good. Thank you, okay, for sharing your story of success. And I am certain it's only beginning, because if in a year and a half practicing this, you saw such results. Imagine what's not going to happen, in 5, 10 years from now, God allowing, of course. Okay? Yeah. Congratulations, right? So you viewer, you see, it is possible. It is possible. You can also learn to develop the courage, the boldness, but you see, intelligent faith, something based upon the most ancient thing, before the first man was ever created, before the earth was shaped, before before the universe started, the Word of God already existed. It is before all things. Listen, there is nothing more powerful than the Word of God. And if you want to test it, if you want to put it to the test, you can. You probably have a Bible there. Open it. Go to the Gospels. Who knows, it might be a Bible with the words of Jesus in red, and you can read those words. But not only read, meditate. For instance, she picked one quote from Jesus. The door I open, no one can shut. Imagine if He is the one opening the door. But He's not going to open automatically. It's not up to Him for Him to open the door. You have to be the one who knocks. You have to be the one who prays, who talks to Him and say, God, Jesus, help me with this. Help me. I am in need of help. It doesn't have to be a long prayer. Just this is enough. And if you speak to Him sincerely, you will get an answer. So you took one step forward by faith. You keep doing it long enough, and you will see more and more results. Okay? So we are going to pray after the break. You can still call us. But before, let us watch another story of success from Yolanda. Someone who also, it's a different situation, but see also how faith helped her overcome.
I used to be a very bubbly person, very sociable. But when I was by myself, I used to feel very empty, lonely, sad. I used to cry and just feel very, very unhappy. I just didn't know why, but I was very unhappy. That made me a very needy person. I thought my happiness would come from someone else. The first long relationship that I had, we had a child together, and I just had to, after 3 years, I had to flee from him because we had a very bad fight. And the second relationship, it was even worse. It was about 8 years of abuse, starting for psychological abuse, then lies, betrayal, unfaithfulness, until it got physical. I was totally depressed because I just couldn't deal with my life. I was really sad. I wanted to end with my life.
There was something about her I liked because she was always bubbly, but then I noticed that with time, she would come in some days and she would be very sad. She wouldn't speak to anyone. As she explained to me what she was going through, and I remember myself coming to the church, using my faith, learning how to overcome my problems and how I overcame them.
She was different from everybody else. She had a different faith, a different kind of advice. So I started wondering, where did she get this from? And that's when I got to know the church.
I was so happy because I knew within me that if she followed up with the advice that she was given, she'd be able to find a solution for her problems.
I learned how to deal with my problems in a different way. I learned how to live by faith. My life today is totally restored. I have control of my life. I know where to stand. I still have problems, but I know how to deal with them. I know how to overcome them. I face them. That's the beauty of it. For me, now, nothing is impossible.
Where DKW a different kind of woman. So I want to find out if you might have dyslexia.
My memory's not too good today.
And it's almost like you have to be this superwoman.
Years and years ago when I watched Titanic, and obviously My Heart Will Go On came on, and it just brought me back to that time.
And I was with 4 other sisters. Lord have mercy. So you know how they work. You're not gonna go over there and say nothing?
Come on, a little closer now. And let me know that you're mine. Woo!
It's going to be your turn to do your macaroons. No competition.
We're here at Britain's Top Designer 2015.
This is DKW. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
The pursuit of happiness. What will make you happy? Success? Fame? New shoes? Financial security? Love? Education? Independence? Family? Sometimes in the pursuit of things we think will bring us happiness, sometimes we fail to see that we aren't happy, or we never find it. We live in a world of people. Rather than pursue things to make you happy, what if we all worked to make each other happy? Wouldn't we all be happier?
Welcome back to Finding Answers. We are coming close to the end of tonight's episode. But before we finish, I would like to ask you what you think about the expression, don't worry. We hear this every day. We say this to ourselves every day. We say this to others every day. It's very common. I think we even lose track of how many times we say it. Don't worry. But what do you think? I would say if the don't worry has to do with don't do anything about the issue, just assume that time will take care of it and it will just heal by itself. If the don't worry encourages complacency, has to do with apathy, I totally disagree with that don't worry. That kind of don't worry is not from God, because we have to take action. There's time to worry, but worry in a positive way. Worry in the sense of, if I don't do it, nothing is going to change. I remember the story I heard many years ago of a man who bought a piece of land, and it was a mess. It was full of debris, full of rocks. So he started to work very hard, first to clean up everything, to remove all the rubbish, to remove the rocks, the weed. After he cleaned up everything, then he started to prepare the soil to receive seed. And he put fertilizer, he invested, he started to dig trenches, he watered, he planted, and then a beautiful orchard grew in that field. And a passerby, when everything was now beautiful, was just looking at it, stopped for a moment, looked at the orchard, and looked at the man who was the owner and said, wow, what a beautiful work God has done in this piece of land. To what the man replied, yes, indeed, but you should have seen how this place looked like when God was taking care of it by himself. In other words, there is the part that only God can do, but there is the part that it's you. You have to take action. But if your worry is leading you to stress, anxiety, and there is the part of worry that is negative because it's actually something that you have no power over. For instance, you really worry about what other people think about you. But then again, what power do we have? Of course, with our behavior, we can create a good impression or a bad one, but in the end of the day, people will take their own conclusions. So I believe that there's a lot of people, probably you, viewer, who worry about things that only hurt you. And Jesus is the one who said, don't worry about what you're going to eat or what you're going to dress. Evidently, he's speaking to his disciples, to those who obey him. He said, the birds of the air, they don't work, they don't sow, but God provides the food. The lilies of the field, the same. They don't even move, but God provides everything. They dress in a way, Jesus said, not even Solomon, the wealthiest man to have ever stepped on the face of this earth, dressed in such a beautiful way as the lilies of the field. So when you listen to his word, when you apply faith based on what he says, then you will not need to worry, because you will have peace. And actually, this is what I want to do right now. I want to pray. I want to join faith with you so that you can have peace. Do you want peace? You can receive. If you want, just join us in this moment of prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your family and loved ones, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
Oh my God, in this moment, once again, we join faith with this viewer that at this point, at this time, is in need of an answer that only you can provide. No one else, no person, no medication, no judge, no doctor, no friend, not even the husband, the wife, the children, or the one who cares the most about this person on earth can give. The answer, it takes a miracle, my Lord. And this person believes. They believe. They don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but it's not up to us to figure out how the miracle will happen. That we don't worry about it. We leave it to you. But I ask you to perform the miracle right now. To remove this anxiety, this heaviness, oppression, this burden of worry from this viewer right now, that are at a point where they don't know what they're going to do. Tomorrow they have a lion to kill. They have something that they have to do, to accomplish, and they don't know how. But I ask you, help this person right now. Just because they have the faith to stop and pray with us, manifest your power and enter into this house, this room, this office, wherever this person may be, watching us from a palace, from a mansion, or from a shack, from the most humble place to the fanciest one. Shine your light over him, over her, and show that you are God, my Father. Right now I pray, in Jesus' name, receive peace, dear friend. And I bless this water, and I determine that when you drink, the Spirit of God will get into action and touch your life. Be blessed. And if you believe, say amen. Drink the water. This is it. This night will be different. It will be a good night for you. It was a pleasure being with you. I want to thank Jasmine again for being with us, and you for watching. Until tomorrow at the same time and station. God bless you. Bye-bye. Good night.